KtP's Pick 3. So, in the news this week, President Trump and First Lady Melania have tested positive for COVID-19. I'm sure most of you have heard that already. The New York Post, New York Post has an article. Twitter says it will suspend users who wish death after Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis. This was a pleasantly surprising article.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn a little bit.
Well, you're right, exactly. But I was surprised. The only question is, what's going to happen when half of their blue check marks are gone off the platform? How are they going to keep the thing going? They've already been banning all the conservatives. What are you going to do when all the left is? How many of the left will be left?
I don't know.
I think they have a probably reasonable way out here. In the article, it says we're prioritizing the removal of content when it has a clear call to action that could potentially cause real world harm. So I think this is First Amendment safe and safe for business.
Right.
So they should be fine.
Because Twitter has not been known for being First Amendment safe.
Yeah.
Or
friendly to conservatives.
Or friendly, yeah. So I think, first of all, I think it's absolutely abhorrent anybody who would hate the president that much that they wish the painful death of COVID on him. And it's not just a random person with 14 or 15 followers. We're talking, to get a blue check mark, you have to be essentially an influencer within the Twitter world. And it is sad that, as soon as I heard that there was going to be, or that Trump was tested positive for COVID, him and Melania, I knew that people were going to be excited about it.
Yeah. And well, it's sad that we knew it would happen because you would think...
Not a doubt at all.
You would think that preemptively they would know, because conservatives were already saying, like, oh, well, let's see how much of the hate spewing is going to go on from the left. And you didn't really see any of that from the right when RGB died recently. Well, and I'm not trying to say... I'm not claiming some sort of moral superiority here. I know I'm a piece of trash too sometimes, all right? But the point is
the nature of man.
It is the nature of man. But it's just, you would think that if they wanted to get one over on the people on the right, they might have said, haha, we're going to prove you wrong. Like, why would you do it? Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the bait, I guess. I mean, not that they were baited. They were going to do it anyway.
Right.
But I think that it would have been a better burn on the rest of us for them to say, look at you bunch of pieces of garbage. You were calling us the slanderous ones and acted like we were really going to do that. We're not like that. We're nice people. Right. No, that would have been a good moment to just slam us and say, see all of you jerks that said
we're really not that bad.
Yeah. We said we're going to say all these awful things. How dare you?
Now, I will say that I did see on Twitter where it looks like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris they did both reach out their support.
Kamala. Did you say Kamala? You said it.
Know.
Comma. You got to think like comma.
Kamala. They both.
They're gonna get you now.
They put their support out for President Trump. Yeah, they put their support out for President Trump. No, but actually, they wished him recovery and all of that, so that's good. But I was going to say the nuance there.
Well, from them, I expected it. Yeah. I think it's more of the pundit types and
of course. But the thing about Twitter, like I said, they've not always been friendly for the freedom of speech, and something that I know I stand by, and I think you probably agree with me. You can tell me otherwise, but essentially, if you have a bad idea, it could be a quote unquote hateful idea. You should be able to express it, legally be able to express. Now, I might not like it. I might push back against it. But you should be able to legally express it, essentially so everyone can see how bad it is.
Yeah.
There's the whole, it's better to be thought of a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yes.
But some people just want to open their mouth or type with their thumbs. But I will say the nuance that it's the call to action. Because if Twitter was going to follow suit with their... free speech issues, then they would have just said, hey, if you wish death to the president, we're going to block you, which again, it's a horrible thing, and you should not be doing that. But I do like how they took that step to say that if it's a call to action, and I hope that in the future they balance that out on both sides.
Yeah.
Because that's the purpose and the idea of our freedom of speech, that you can say really dumb or horrible or hateful, bigoted things, and essentially people just know what kind of person you are if that's the case.
Right. So hopefully they have a quick recovery.
Absolutely. Wish them the best.
In other news,
ACB, or Amy Coney Barrett, has been nominated to the Supreme Court. She's got to go through the confirmation. I'm sure the confirmation process will be a circus and a fiasco. Amy Coney Barrett is a mouthful. Much easier to say ACB, right? You think?
Yes, ACB's good. And thank God that she has 3 names, because I don't know how we could have replaced the late RBG with someone with only 2 names.
Right.
So thank God she had 3, ACB.
And not ABC.
Oh, good. Yeah, that would have been weird, because how could you, ABC, then you would have had to have a Jackson 5 song play every time you get up to the bench.
That's really not a bad thing.
Well, and I think that would have opened up more. She's obviously going to be attacked hard from the left whenever they come to do the confirmation hearings.
Of course, because that's just the way things go.
Prove us wrong, guys.
Please
prove us wrong.
Please,
just do it.
Please,
try.
Just either like
you didn't get ahead of us on the Twitter thing, so let's see if maybe we can not accuse her of rape. I don't know if.
Oh my gosh!
Like, did she have a gang rape team with her?
I don't know.
Would that work on her? I don't know. She's super Catholic, so maybe.
I don't want to think about that too hard. Some of the things to look out for are things like the religious test, which is unconstitutional. So we're jumping a little bit there. It's unconstitutional to provide a religious test for government office, and now that means it falls on both sides of the coin. Where on one hand, the government can't say you have to be of this religion or you have to follow this dogma in order to achieve office. On the other hand, they also can't do the antithesis of that. You have to reject your religion for this. So Joe Biden does not have to reject his Catholicism for his party, except for the abortion thing. And
but apparently they can reject him.
Right.
Still can't take communion.
Yes. But on the same thing with Amy Coney Barrett, the quote-unquote dogma lives loudly within you. Did I quote that right? About right?
Yeah, the dogma lives loudly within me, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, she's super
That's like
Catholic.
a compliment, I think.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that was
a compliment.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was an insult.
It's essentially, hey, look, these are the values that I live by, and I believe with this. I don't lightly believe it. These aren't just something that I think is nice to have, but this is something that I am actually pursuing with my life, that I think these are the best foundational principles, and I'm living by it.
Right. So,
and then somebody, as a type of, I don't want to call it an insult, but basically as a jab at you, says that you follow your principles.
If I were her, I would put that on a plaque in my office.
Right.
Thank you, Senator Feinstein. That was great. Yeah. But anyway, if they can't give a religious test as a part of the confirmation hearings, if leftism is basically a religion, would that mean they couldn't ask a progressive judge any questions at all?
And therein lies the problem. Well,
this is an interesting conundrum.
The conundrum you're going in, and we can talk about this in another.
We might be getting too
segment,
far afield, but we should probably move on.
But I will say this: that logic doesn't track with the extremities of leftism.
Right, but how can you can't hold them to logic, Matt? That's part of the religious test. You're causing them to have to pass a religious test.
You have to reject
if they're having to accept logic.
Well, my hope is that we don't have to find out the hard way.
All right. Hey, but also, so I guess Roe v. Wade is the big issue also everybody's freaking out about. Or did you want to talk about that in another segment?
Yeah, well, I think we'll do another episode about that, but it is important to understand the Roe v. Wade overturn. If you would have asked me a few years ago, 10 years ago, when we were kind of really big into the... I would call it very light activism, because it's not like we there was the, if you want to meet at the courthouse, you're gonna pray, do things, something like that, but we didn't actively do a whole lot. But if you would ask me at that point, when in the college version of myself, it would have been, yes, overturn Roe v. Wade, and then abortion is no more. That's not the ruling. That's not how it works.
That seems to be how a lot of people on the left who are freaking out about her seem to think that's how it works. It's not. It wouldn't even. And a case, on the right has to, it's a bad understanding of the policy on both sides, and so we will review that in another episode. But long story short, there's the ruling came from the 14th Amendment, and we'll deal with that with some of those details. It doesn't necessarily mean that abortion is going to be illegal in every state in the union, but that's your hint for when we get into that. And for the third wheel of our pick 3. Yeah, so this one's interesting. Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies showed up at a Tampa area apartment after a concerned neighbor called about a violent disturbance. Sheriff's deputies showed up at the scene expecting a violent altercation very loud and brutal, but it turns out it was just a bunch of buddies watching a hockey game. Turns out it's hard to tell the difference. So apparently some of them were shouting, "Shoot, shoot, I dare you to shoot." So the neighbors and the police were afraid that maybe there was a gun involved. And so the police just laughed it off, and they were worried it was serious because of the shooting threats, but it turns out it was nothing to be concerned about.
And that's our KTP pick 3.
Awesome.